I never thought a champagne toast would be the moment I truly disappeared. It was my sister's engagement party, lavish, loud, and dripping in the kind of wealth my family flaunted like a crown. My mother, elegant as always in her tailored emerald dress, raised her glass and smiled at the sea of perfect faces. To my beautiful daughter, Vanessa. You've always made us proud. You are everything we ever hoped for. Laughter. Applause. But I stood there, glass in hand, completely invisible. No mention of me. No second glance. I was her daughter too, Sophie. The firstborn. The forgotten. I turned to leave, my throat tight with unshed tears, when I caught Vanessa's smirk from across the room. A tiny, satisfied curl of her lips, like she had just won a war no one else knew was happening. That was the night something shifted. That was the night I stopped being silent. You see, for years, Vanessa had been slowly erasing me. From family photos, from memories, even from our parents' hearts. And I had let it happen. But that night, surrounded by crystal glasses and shallow compliments, I made myself a promise. She may have buried the truth, but I was going to dig it back up. Before the silence, before the toast, before I became a ghost in my own family, there was once a time I believed I belonged. Our home was a stately brick colonial on a quiet tree-lined street. From the outside, everything looked perfect. And maybe, for a short while, it was. My name is Sophie Reed, the first daughter of Daniel and Eleanor Reed. I was born on a cold November morning, with my mother in labor for 17 hours. My father often joked that I took my time because I knew the world wouldn't be kind. I used to laugh at that. Now I know it wasn't a joke, it was a prophecy. When I was 5, Vanessa was born. And with her arrival, the entire atmosphere of the house shifted. She was beautiful from the start, golden hair, big eyes, and a soft giggle that charmed anyone who heard it. She had my mother's grace and my father's attention from day one. At first, I didn't mind. I was the big sister. I helped pick her outfits. I made her laugh when she cried. I protected her at preschool when the other kids teased her for sucking her thumb. I loved her. But slowly, the light started to dim around me. And every time Vanessa glowed, I seemed to fade a little more. By the time I turned 11, the pictures on the living room wall had already started changing. Fewer of me, more of her. Her ballet recitals became the center of every conversation. My art competitions? Overlooked. My awards? Stored in boxes. When I got accepted into the gifted program in middle school, my mother said, "That's nice, sweetie. But make sure to be home in time for Vanessa's piano recital." I was always Vanessa's shadow. Always the quiet one. The dependable one. The one who never caused trouble. And they loved me for being quiet, until they forgot I was even there. I still remember the summer before high school, when my father took Vanessa to Paris for a father-daughter bonding trip. They told me I was too mature for it, that I would enjoy being home alone, reading books and painting. I smiled and nodded. But when they left, I cried for 3 straight days. Still, I tried to believe the best. I held on to birthdays. Hoped they'd remember. They never did. Vanessa always remembered how to make herself seen. Even at 13, she'd stage drama, fake tears, exaggerated stories, jealousy games. She had a gift for twisting narratives. She once told our teacher I stole her test answers. I didn't. But my mother sided with her anyway. Sophie, you need to stop being so jealous of your sister's talents. That sentence stayed with me like a burn. When I turned 16, I got into an elite arts program. Vanessa crashed the celebration dinner by announcing she'd been invited to audition for a modeling agency. Instantly, all attention swung to her. That was the pattern. My milestones were always overshadowed by her announcements. By the time college came, Vanessa was the princess. My parents paid for her tuition at a private fashion institute in New York. I got a partial scholarship to a state university. No one came to my orientation. But everyone drove 8 hours to tour Vanessa's new apartment. I stopped trying after that. I visited less. Called less. But every time I came home for the holidays, the coldness cut deeper. Vanessa's stories filled the air, and my seat at the table always felt like a guest chair. Once, during Thanksgiving, I arrived early to help. My mother gave me a tight smile and handed me a list of chores. When Vanessa strolled in 2 hours late, hair curled and dress sparkling, she was welcomed like royalty. Sophie, can you help Vanessa with her place setting? Of course, Mom, I said, my voice automatic. It didn't matter how successful I was becoming. I graduated with honors, landed a great job in design, and even started my own small studio by 27. But none of that registered at home. Because Vanessa had just gotten engaged. To Luke Thompson. And that changed everything. He was a lawyer from a powerful family, with a smile as rehearsed as a politician's. The engagement was treated like a royal announcement. My mother threw an immediate party. My father called his friends. And I stood to the side. Once again, watching, not belonging. Until the night of the toast. Until the moment I realized. Vanessa didn't just want the spotlight. She wanted to erase me completely. If the engagement party was the earthquake, what followed in the weeks after were aftershocks, subtle but sharp, always threatening to split my world in two. It began with Luke. Vanessa's fiancé seemed perfect, too perfect. He was always polite, always smiling. But I noticed small things. He avoided eye contact with Vanessa when she spoke. He never laughed at her jokes, only nodded. His phone was always upside down on the table, silenced. And yet, my family worshipped him. My mother called him a golden son-in-law. My father offered him a position at his firm within a month of their engagement. Even my grandmother, who rarely liked anyone, knit him a Christmas sweater. Only I noticed the cracks. One evening, Vanessa posted a glamorous photo of them on Instagram with the caption, "My king, my forever ring." Within 5 minutes, I saw Luke's profile. He hadn't liked it. Not then. Not even hours later. I clicked his profile. It was private, but the profile picture wasn't with Vanessa, it was him alone, taken months before they met. Odd. I didn't say anything. I thought maybe I was imagining it, maybe some leftover bitterness. But something inside me whispered, look deeper. Then came the wedding plans. I wasn't just excluded, I was deliberately ignored. Vanessa asked distant cousins to be bridesmaids, college friends I'd never met, even her hairstylist. But not me. When I gently asked why, she blinked dramatically and said, "I just didn't think you'd want to be involved, Sophie. You never like attention." I bit my tongue so hard I tasted blood. Even worse, my name wasn't printed on the wedding invitation. The envelope read, "Mr. and Mrs. Reed and family." I had become and family. I didn't say anything then either. But that same week, I got a call from an unknown number. A quiet, nervous voice on the other end said, "Is this Sophie Reed?" "Yes." "Who is this?" I used to work with Vanessa at the fashion firm. I saw your photo on her social media. I think you should know something." My heart dropped. The woman, her name was Maya, claimed she had seen Vanessa having an affair with a married executive. She told me Vanessa wasn't just working at the firm, she had been blackmailing the man. Screenshots. Voicemails. She hinted at emails, too. She told him she'd ruin his life unless he helped fund her startup. I quit the next week. I couldn't be part of it. I barely spoke during the call. My mind raced. Was this a prank? But Maya sounded scared. Apologetic. She sent me a few messages Vanessa had allegedly sent to the man, calling him darling, threatening to expose everything if he didn't wire the money. I asked, "Why are you telling me this now?" Maya hesitated. She posted the wedding announcement. I recognized Luke. "That's the same guy." "What?" "Yes. Vanessa told me his real name was Chris. But he's your sister's fiancé, right?" I froze. Luke wasn't Luke. It didn't make sense. Unless he wasn't the one lying. Vanessa was. I stayed up all night digging. I searched the business registry for her startup. It didn't exist. I Googled her work history. Her LinkedIn was blank. I even checked court records for the name Maya gave me. Nothing. But that only made it worse. Because lies that disappear are often the most dangerous. I knew I had to confront Vanessa. But how do you question someone who has spent their whole life pretending better than you breathe? Still, I tried. The next day, I met her at her favorite cafe. She arrived late, as always, in sunglasses, hair curled, nails freshly done. She didn't even say hello before launching into wedding plans. I let her talk. Then I said, carefully, "Vanessa, who is Luke, really?" She blinked. What kind of question is that? I've heard some things. About your work. About someone named Chris. Before I could finish, her smile dropped. Her face hardened. She leaned forward and whispered, "You don't know what you're talking about. And if you keep snooping, I'll make sure Mom and Dad never speak to you again." Understood? My stomach clenched. There it was. The mask fell, and for the first time, I saw her. Not the sweet, sparkly sister everyone adored, but the cold, calculating woman who would ruin anyone who threatened her fantasy. She left without finishing her drink. That night, I sat in my apartment, staring at my phone. My hands were shaking. But my mind was clear. She wasn't just trying to erase me from her wedding. She was erasing everything. identity, even people. And I was the last thread still holding her lies together. I had a choice: stay silent, let her marry Luke, let her destroy another life, or finally, fight back. I clicked open a new folder. Titled it, The Truth About Vanessa. It was time. They say secrets are like rot, hidden deep beneath the surface until one crack lets everything seep out. Mine came the night before the wedding. I hadn't planned it. I truly hadn't. I wasn't some vengeful villain scheming in a dark room. I was just a sister tired of being erased. Tired of pretending. Tired of protecting someone who wouldn't blink before destroying me. I opened the folder on my laptop, The Truth About Vanessa. There it all was. Screenshots of her blackmailing emails. Photos of Luke and the real Chris, two different men. Financial statements showing money transfers from an unknown account to hers. A voice message from Maya, trembling and real. I copied everything to a flash drive. Then I printed the documents. Clean. Sharp. No emotion. Just truth. And slid them into a sealed envelope. I didn't know what exactly I would do until I saw the rehearsal dinner. Held in a grand ballroom downtown, it looked like a preview of a royal wedding. Vanessa in a white satin cocktail dress, holding court like a queen. And everyone bowed. Even Luke. He kissed her cheek and smiled like he hadn't just been lied to for over a year. My hands trembled as I held the envelope in my purse. Then I saw our parents. My mother beaming. My father laughing with Luke. And not one of them saw me standing in the corner. Invisible again. That's when something inside me snapped. Not from hatred, but from grief. The kind that comes from decades of being nothing more than an extra in your own life. I walked up to the mic uninvited. The music dimmed. Heads turned. Vanessa's smile faltered. "Can I say something?" I asked, my voice calm. Too calm. The room hushed. Vanessa's eyes narrowed. Luke looked confused. I took a deep breath. I just wanted to wish my sister the very best. She always said she wanted a fairy tale. And she got it, built on lies, betrayal, and stolen identities. Gasps echoed. Vanessa's mouth dropped open. I pulled out the envelope and placed it on the gift table in front of Luke. "You might want to read this before tomorrow." "Security," Vanessa shouted. Luke picked up the envelope. My mother grabbed my arm, hard. "What are you doing? This is your sister's night." I looked at her, dead in the eye. Exactly. It's her night. And tomorrow doesn't belong to her unless she earns it. I turned and walked out, heart pounding. I didn't know if I'd ever speak to my family again. Didn't know if I'd be blamed. Or banished. Or worse. But I knew one thing. For the first time, I had spoken the truth, loudly. No more whispers. No more erasing. And no more pretending Vanessa was anything but what she truly was. It was explosive. I had walked out of that rehearsal dinner with shaking hands and a heart threatening to punch through my ribs. I didn't look back. I couldn't. But the aftermath found me. It started the very next morning. My phone vibrated nonstop. Missed calls, Mom, 12, Dad, 5, unknown number, Luke? Messages. What the hell did you do? Vanessa. We need to talk. Now. Luke. You've ruined everything. Mom. Proud of you. Maya. That last one? The only one that made me cry. By noon, the wedding was officially postponed. Vanessa tried to spin it, of course. Family emergency. Illness. Privacy concerns. But everyone who had seen that envelope knew something more sinister had unraveled. I later learned Luke did read everything. And he didn't take it well. He confronted Vanessa in front of both families. Accused her of using him. Of faking their entire relationship. He even mentioned the other guy, Chris, and the money trail. Vanessa denied it at first. But she didn't count on screenshots. Luke had printed the emails I included. Including the part where she said, "Marrying Luke is about legacy, not love. He's a name, a ring, a bank account." Her words. Her voice. No amount of fake tears could undo that. By the time my parents got home that night, the house felt like a war zone. My mother didn't even look at me. My father sat in the living room, staring into space. It was like someone had detonated a bomb in our family and I was the only one standing outside the blast zone. But that's the thing about truth bombs. They don't just break lies. They shatter the comfort built around them. Later that week, Vanessa tried to play the victim online. She made a vague post about betrayal and a jealous sibling trying to destroy her happiness. She even tagged a fake foundation she supported, trying to salvage her image. But by then, too many people had seen the truth. Even some of her so-called friends unfollowed her. Whispers started in her social circles. And for once, she wasn't the shining star, she was the warning sign. And me? I didn't feel triumphant. I felt free. I wasn't proud of causing pain. I didn't celebrate the broken engagement or our family's collapse. But I finally felt visible. Heard. Unapologetically real. The house was quieter. Vanessa had moved out, supposedly taking time for herself. My mom avoided me, but my dad, he surprised me. One evening, he sat beside me and said, "I should have noticed. I let her drown you out. I'm sorry." It wasn't a grand apology. But it was real. I nodded, blinking back tears. "Do you hate her?" he asked softly. I thought about it. "No," I said. "But I don't trust her. And I'm done protecting her lies." I've started a podcast about family roles, hidden resentment, and what happens when you stop being the good girl and start speaking up. It's doing well. Turns out, a lot of people out there are tired of pretending too. As for Vanessa, she's trying to rebrand herself online, motivational quotes, faux spirituality, healing era. But the comments on her posts tell a different story. People remember. Truth leaves a stain. But so does courage. And finally, I'm okay with being remembered. Not as the invisible one. Not as Vanessa's sister. But as me, the woman who finally said, enough.